Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Three Men of Football podcast. All right lads?
Hi boys, how are we doing? Simon, Thomas, have a good weekend?
Hi lads, how are we? Yeah, great. Liverpool have just won.
Yeah,
Sorry, Darren.
We're not going to talk about that. Robbed again.
Got to be honest, it was a crap game though, wasn't it?
It was horrendous until the subs come on. They upped the pace a bit and then we got at them and then the class took over and we won convincingly.
I'm not sure the word classic convincingly springs to mind, but you did get your 2 goals.
Well, none of us got the score right, so...
No, but when Grealish went through and it was 2-0 to Liverpool, Thomas had 2-1 down as the football forecast, and part of me's thinking, just miss. Just miss. I don't care now.
That's a decent save as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good save, yeah.
It was, yeah. Hey, do you know what though? You're all laughing at me saying that I bottled it with the score again like I did with Everton, but I know my Liverpool. I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, to be fair, I thought Villa had quite a few good chances, decent chances.
I thought that'd be the case.
The most we've had probably in the last 10 games. It was, at one point I think we had in the first half 2 or 3 on target, and Liverpool only had 1.
Yeah, but they also had, at the start of the second half, I thought Villa started really well.
Yeah.
Come out the blocks quick. Liverpool were just not at the races at all. And then, as Thomas says, when the subs come on, it changed the game. Firmino started linking up a bit more. Gini was pushing on a lot more, which was forcing the game. And Hendo gives you a bit of stability. Not that I think that's any different than Fabinho, but I think those 3 of them coming on at the same time made a big difference.
They have a bit more energy about them, I think, than what was, and probably Klopp's had a go at them. Get on there, be busy, keep the ball moving a lot quicker than what you have doing. It was very pedestrian at times.
Oh, it was crap. I mean, but the other thing is as well, we were really negative in midfield.
Yeah, I do think Liverpool will thrive off a crowd. And they do something, the crowd get behind them. And some teams need that. They need that atmosphere. And I think Liverpool have suffered a little bit since we've come back.
Yeah.
Well, they were talking about it in the commentary and they were saying, I can't remember who it was, but he was saying, I thought Liverpool would struggle more than City without the crowd.
Yeah.
You've got to look at the depth of City as well. They've got so many good players that they've got a lot to call on. But, that made a difference for us today, the subs.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically the better players, aren't they? City have got technically better players, and we've got more powerful, driven on by the crowd type players. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. Let's get to today's subject. So we have been lucky enough to get an ex-pro on, and not only an ex-pro from the football game, but also a lad who has been both a pro in football and a pro in boxing, which there aren't that many. I think, Darren, we were talking earlier, and there's Curtis Woodhouse and maybe 1 or 2 more, but
Leon
McKenzie, yeah. Certainly not many that have done it and gone on and fought a load of fights as opposed to maybe just a couple to be a token pro. This lad, Dave Birmingham, fought 15 times, won 9 times, fought for a couple of Southern area titles. Really good lads, mate of yours, Thomas. You met him on Oldie?
Yeah, he's a cracking lad. I'm sure the story will come out later in the podcast, but he's a cracking lad, good family man. His accent's a bit throws you a little bit at first, but I'm sure he will be fine.
Yeah.
Did we get a translation button sorted, Si?
Not yet, Daz.
Not yet. No.
Get it done before we put it out. All right, let's get over and have a chat with him. Hello, Dave. Welcome to the Three Men of Football podcast. Nice to have you on, lad.
How you doing, fellas? You all good?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good to see you.
Hi, Dave. Nice to see you again, mate.
Do you too, Tom?
I love the fact that he's
time, though, mate. Hey.
I love the fact that he's laying on his bed.
He's got very.
What can I say?
He's gone very cash. This podcast has gone downhill. He's gone. I love the headboard, by the way.
Mate,
which reminds me,
we do that to things. We take it downhill really quick, don't we?
Yeah.
Dave, Northern boys.
Dave, were you a fan of Lego when you were a kid?
But I love Lego, but I was never allowed to play it.
All right. So before we get into the piss taking. So, Dave, you've done some things that actually definitely me. I don't know about Thomas because he fancies himself as a bit of a boxer these days. But we all wanted to be professional footballers. And then we've also done me and Tom have also done a bit of mixed martial arts, a bit of boxing in our time. And you've been a pro at both, which I think is a bit unique.
Yeah.
How did you pick between the two when you were younger?
But to be fair, when I was younger, I actually boxed when I was at AFC Bournemouth. And I got to semi-finals England schoolboys, come out against a lad, Matthew Burke, and he beat 10 bales of shit out of me in the boxing ring. He battered me. He went on to win it and went to box for England and everything. I went home with a nose that was over here, big black eye. So I went to play for Bournemouth, School of Excellence, the next day. And the manager looked at me and went, right, what have you done? And I was like, well, you know, boxing the night before. And he went, yeah, that's a no-go. You either choose football or boxing, end of. And my old man looked at me and went, you're a shit boxer, even though you're shit at that, so go with the football. And, oh, okay, so I did.
Lovely. So then you were at Bournemouth. That was your first club?
Yeah, I was at AFC Bournemouth as a youngster till I was 18, 19. And I went to Portsmouth, stayed there for a couple of years, made my pro debut there. And then went back to Bournemouth and finished up my career there with a little loan spell at Brighton.
Who was the manager of Bournemouth at the time? Both spells?
Sean O'Driscoll.
Oh, right, okay. Both
yeah,
spells,
Mel Machin was the original manager when I was an apprentice down there.
Yeah.
And then when I went back to Bournemouth, after being at Portsmouth, it was Sean O'Driscoll and Peter Grant, who was the assistant down there then.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe, the manager now, was actually my club captain.
Oh, was he?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's been there for
decent footballer.
He was a good player.
What about Portsmouth? Who was your manager there?
Tony Pulis.
Oh, nice.
I thought your neck looked a bit bad.
Sorry?
I thought your neck looked a bit bad for the long balls.
I had Alan Ball, who signed me as a pro. I had Ted McDougall, who was my reserve team manager. Neil McNabb, who was the under-19s manager, who's played for Man City.
Yeah.
And then Alan Ball got tin-tacked. And then Tony Pulis come in and chucked me straight in the first team after seeing me in under-21s game. And thought, yeah, I like him. He's an horrible little git. We'll have him play.
Dave, can I ask you a question? Are we going to need a rhyming slang book for this podcast? Because I've lost one already.
The tic-tac was brilliant. The tic-tac.
Come on, tin-tac.
Don't let them go. Don't let it go. You know, go with it.
Yeah, tin-tac. You know, us Portsmouth lads, we are plastic cockneys, aren't we? So come on.
Oh, if you say apples and pears, I swear.
Yeah.
You boys on the Toblerone, didn't you? Come on.
Oh, brilliant. All right, so you went from AFC Bournemouth to Portsmouth.
Yes.
Had your pro debut there.
Yes.
How long were you at Portsmouth for?
I was at Portsmouth for 2.5 years.
And how young were you when you were there?
I was 18, so I was just turned 18. So I done my apprenticeship down at Bournemouth, and then I went on loan to Bognor Regis when my brother played for a bit of experience. I played against a team called Braintree Town. We was second in the league, they was top. We was beating them 2-0, and being the gobby little southerner I am, I was chopping off to the winger. He was giving a bit of banter back, and I thought it was just general banter. And in the end, he ended up snapping my leg in the tackle. So that was really nice of him.
Really?
Yes. Now I went to Portsmouth to do my rehab, and I ended up staying there and signing pro.
Brilliant. Love that. At 18?
Yeah, 18. I signed my first pro contract.
And then you spent a couple of years there, and then went back to AFC Bournemouth.
Yeah, I spent a couple of years there. Like I said, under Alan Ball and Tony Pulis. Steve Claridge come in. I didn't particularly play too good. I had to have another operation on my knee to have the 6 pins removed from the broken leg. And then Bournemouth come in for me to go down on loan. Me and Steve Claridge had a little bit of a dust up on the training ground and after a reserve game. And basically got pulled in the office, got told, there's your cheque, see you later, mate. I was like, all right, cheers. And I went down time for Bournemouth.
A little bit of a dust up doesn't sit well with me. Spill the beans.
We had a little bit of a ding-dong, shall we say. He come in as a gaffer. And when Pulis got sacked, tin-tacked, shall we say. Got sacked. He come in as a manager. I played in a reserve game, and their keeper in a reserve game done a naughty one on one of our young lads. So I took matters in my own hand. I went through the keeper a little bit naughty. Come off it a little bit bad. I had to have a couple of stitches in my ankle, and he come in. He weren't too happy with me whatsoever. So we had a little bit of a disagreement, and then I got pulled in the office the next day and told, I can't have that at this club.
That's amazing. Not how easy they can do that, though, isn't it? They'd have never have done that to a long-term pro.
No. Yeah, so it's when your face fits. That's all it is, you know.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, when I was at Portsmouth, we was always in a relegation battle. Yeah. Always. We weren't up in the Premier League. We was only in the Division 1, which is now the Championship. We was always down there fighting for our lives. And Claridge and some of the others wanted to go for the experienced lads. The young lads didn't really get a big chance in it. Pulis chucked a few of us in there, and he stuck with us. As myself, Luke Nightingale, who's 18, Gary O'Neill, who's 16 when he made his debut. There's a couple of youngsters there and thereabouts, but he was quite reliant on youngsters. But Cloud was no. Yeah, we'll go for experience and look after his mates.
Yeah, and Portsmouth at the time had financial issues as well, didn't he? I think before the big money came in when Nevra went down there.
Yes, they did. Because when I was at Bournemouth, first of all, as an apprentice, we played against Portsmouth in a under-18s game down at Bournemouth's training ground. And I knew one of the coaching staff, Sean North. So we was having a little bit of banter. It got out of hand in the end. We stormed into their change room again, had a little bit of a set two with them. And then I went on loan to Bognor, broke my leg, and Neil Nab rang up straight away and said, look, I want you to come down here, do your rehab work, and stay here and do pre-season. So I brought up straight away, look, Pompey's on the brink of liquidation, they're in a bad way. And he just said, look, son, don't you worry about the financial side. I just want you to come down here and be an horrible bastard. I was like, okay, job done.
Typecast? You seem to have been typecast there.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. My discipline record weren't exactly great, and I was a little temperamental little shit, so it's still fun.
And you played fullback?
Yeah, I played left back or left wing back. In the end, I finished my career playing centre midfield. I was only short, but I was just in there to do the dirty work, just kick people and give the ball to people that can play.
Do you know when you were at Portsmouth, was Paul Cook there at the time?
No, Cookie weren't there. He come down a little bit after me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. But no, I was there under Claridge. We had some good players in there and thereabouts. Claridge actually took me, not Claridge, Pulis actually took me to Blackburn. I made my debut at Bolton. I played Ipswich, my first full debut. And then I went over to Blackburn as well, so it was good. Tony Pulis. Alan Ball took me to Tranmere. I was a squad member at Tranmere, so that was a good one.
Wow.
So you spent a bit of time up north?
I spent loads of time up north, mate. They love me up there.
Because you don't sound like a typical
I even had to come down to Liverpool for my brain scan and stuff when I boxed. I went in there for a brain scan. They said, "We've got a problem with sperm." I said, "What's that?" When you ain't fucking got one as that, Gavin. That's not a big deal, is it? Come on, just get it done. Let me go and let me fight.
You were saying yesterday about the time you come up to Tranmere. Didn't you have a story about what happened at Tranmere when you were in the squad?
Yes, well, I was a youngster, obviously. On the day before, we used to travel up on a Friday. So on a Thursday, the team sheet would get put on the notice board for who's travelling with the first team squad. My name was on there. So I thought, oh, bloody hell, nerves as you like, going up with the first team squad to Tranmere. So we've gone all the way out there. I wasn't the name sub, but I was doing the warm-up and everything. And I've come back in the change room, and one of the senior pros, I won't mention his name, but one of the senior pros has pulled me and gone, "Here, Burns, I'm just about to go around and place a bet. You're going to have to come with me." So I'm thinking, what bet? What are you on about? So he's gone, "Yeah, I'm going to put $2,000 on this horse. If this comes in, you're going to have to come round and collect the winnings for me." And I'm there thinking, fuck off, mate. We're in the middle of Liverpool. I've got a Pompey tracksuit on, and we're just playing Tranmere. And you want me to pick up a big wedge of cash and walk out of it? I said, "Nah, do one." Fuck that. I'll get robbed by you lot.
Yeah.
So is that how you met Thomas?
Yeah.
That is how I met him, yeah. He was there with a balaclava on, going, "You little shit."
So you know you did your YTS, but what was that like compared to the boxing training that you'd done? Did you find it hard, or was it just a different type of fitness?
No, it's a totally different type of fitness. You remember, pro footballers, you get pampered.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, really, really pampered. We used to turn up for pre-season was our hardest time. We used to turn up at the club, we'd go to the training ground, you'd have a breakfast laid on for you. You then go on the training pitch for an hour, do a good running session, and then you'd go in for some lunch. Then you might have a gym session, but you'd still be finished by 2:00 and on the tee-off time for 2:15 down the local golf course.
No.
I love that time.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I love that timetable. It's how do you get one of these pro contracts? Who do I need to speak to?
I don't know. Mine didn't last that long.
So then you ended up going to Bognor, where your brother was, because your brother played as well, didn't he?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And so then you went to Bognor and played there for years as well, on and off, or?
Yeah, no, from when I thought I'd come out the pro game, just fell out of love with the sport, really. You realised how clicky the game was and the shit that went on with it. I just fell out of love with it. And I went down to Bognor with my brother and Jack Pearce, and I stayed down there for about 5-6 years. And then I had my little girl, Lila. So travelling to Bognor twice a week on a Saturday, long distance games. So I thought, I can't be doing that no more. So I went and played for Fareham and then just stayed around the local non-league scene.
But it's a decent standard as well, isn't it? The non-league scene.
Like, it was.
Fareham were a decent team as well.
Sorry?
Fareham were a decent team as well, weren't they, Fareham Town?
Yeah, Fareham was. You had John Gittins down there, who's an ex-pro. But I got a couple of promotions. We won the league with Gosport Borough, who was Alex Pike. He was the youngest manager to get a team to the Vars final at Wembley. I got promotion with Bognor, so it was good. I also got relegated with Bournemouth the year I was pro there. Oh. So we escaped relegation with Portsmouth. We managed to get through the fin of our teeth and get out of that one, even though sometimes we were piss poor.
So then go on, Tom.
Around Bournemouth on and off over the years. Did Harry Redknapp have anything to do with it then? Because I know he did have a big part in Bournemouth for quite a while.
No, Redknapp, he put an appearance. He brought down like a West Ham side to play us in pre-season friendlies and stuff. And he did loan out a lot of the West Ham lads to Bournemouth. So that we had Rio Ferdinand down on loan. We had Jermaine Defoe down on loan. I think he broke the scoring record at one point, 11 goals in 11 consecutive games. He was down there, nice lad. So he was there and thereabouts. But Mel Machin knew a lot of people. We had Man United come down, Sir Alex Ferguson. He brought down David Beckham on the side. So when they was just coming through. So no, we've had some good players come down. And Neil Ruddock, he was another one to come down to the ground.
Neil Ruddock.
But no, it was good. Yeah, that was a laugh. He was a funny man. He would crack me up. He had one of our apprentices by the throat because they wouldn't tell him where the bar was. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that tells you all you need to know about.
You only asked him for an autograph. He's like, Mr. Ruddock to you. I'll sign that when you tell me where the bar is. No. It was good. It was good.
Literally never changed, did he?
No, definitely not. Not after I've seen him on that Harry's Europe thing or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
He's a nightmare, isn't he?
I mean, literally, he's probably been the same all of his life. You used to see him drinking around Liverpool, and he'd be the same. He was just hammered all the time, and then he'd go and play on a Saturday. But
the thing is, there was a big drinking culture back then, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it's
totally
only
different.
Since Arsene Wenger really come, and it's changed. There are athletes now. Yeah. Even when I was coming through from Pompey, we used to play in a reserve game on a Wednesday. We were down at a local nightclub on a Wednesday, like pissing it up, and then off to training on a Thursday, still hanging out of our asses. Yeah. So,
brilliant.
It's just that's just the way it was. But nowadays, it's all changed. They're all athletes. They're all on these nutrition things. They're all prone. They've all got the monitors on them, so it's good.
So did you find it easy, when you moved over from the pro game and you'd been under that much scrutiny and you'd been training every day? How did you find the football at non-league? Was it a difficult transition, or was it just so much easier?
No, I struggled. I'm not going to lie, I struggled. After being pampered like we did in the pro game, when we went over to the non-league and having to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, because I was only a labourer. I mugged school off. I wasn't exactly the most intelligent of the kids anyway. I knew I had my apprenticeship at 14, so I didn't give a shit about my exams or anything else in school. So I was up on a labour on a building site. I'd be up 5 o'clock in the morning, do a day's graft, then you'd have to go train or go play in a game. And I struggled. I did struggle with it. It was hard. And I'd see why players do fall out of the game now.
Mm. And how did you, so we've talked a lot on this about how that impacts people's mental health. So when they go through a YTS, the amount of kids that drop out at 16, then drop out at 18, and then you look at how many of those kids are still in football, 5 years later, and it's dropped right off, because the problem is the impact on your mental health is massive. So you'd gone through your YTS, were then a pro, and then it drops off. How did you deal with that drop off? You're no longer a pro, you're going to play in the in non-league. How was that?
It was tough. It was tough. I was fortunate. Obviously, my brother was playing alongside me in the same side. I had good people around me that had me in a job that was also playing for Bognor. So they tried looking after me the best they can. But yeah, no, I really, really did struggle with it, first of all. But what really hit me hardest most is when I actually decided, right, I'm retiring from boxing. I've done the football. I've now retired from boxing. That's when the mental health really stuck in for me. That's when it was like, shit, what am I going to do? You know, old age kicks in. You realise that you're not as young anymore. Your mindset might want to do it, but your body's going, fuck you, mate. You got no chance.
Yeah.
So that's when it really does start to struggle. And I went for a real bad time for it all. But just couldn't get my head around it. That I've gone from training everyday boxing 2-3 times a day to doing nothing. And to get that in your mindset, that was really difficult. So what I've done now, I've set up a Burns Fitness. So I do my own fitness school. So it just keeps me occupied, keeps me busy, keeps me in the sport environment. I'm over with Horndean, my brother's a manager of now. I'm the fitness coach over there. So I've got that changing room banter. I'm helping the likes of Mickey Parker, who's fighting for the British BKB bare knuckle fight. He's fighting for the title. So I'm still around the fighting side of it all in all. So, but it's the only way I could deal with it, because otherwise it did hit me for 6 big time.
Yeah, Dave, we spoke on this podcast before about you miss that everyday banter with your colleagues or in the boxing world. You miss that, and once that's gone and you're almost left alone, that's the hard part then. Do you regret not doing better in school at times when you were 14? Because obviously when you come out to boxing and football, did you have any qualifications to then move on to your fitness, or did you have to then make that decision and go for your fitness qualifications?
One of my biggest regrets is obviously at 14 not doing well in school. I've got kids now, and I'm so harsh on them, and they turn around to me and go, "But you never done it, Dad." I'm saying, "Yeah, I know," but at the same time, I was on a building site, mate, where you can have a career. And they're like, you had a career in football. I said, but it didn't last forever. Football don't last forever. Boxing don't last forever. Unfortunately, you get old. So you need to have a career. But I struggled at school. I knew I had my apprenticeship at 14. Now, we're not meant to be taken to apprentices till 16. We're not meant to find out until 15, just over 15. I already knew. So as far as I was concerned, I was at school. Fuck that.
Yeah.
When it comes to like schooling, my teacher would ring me up, and so I'd be on the golf course, and he'd be like, "David, we got a game today. I know you're saying you're not very well, but I know it's a lie. Just come in, play the game for me, and then do whatever." So I'd go in after school hours, walk past my form tutor, "Sir," walk straight through the gate, go and change room, get changed, play the game, shoot off. Next day, I will be in school again.
It's amazing.
That's awful.
But it happens. It happens all the time.
It happens all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it do. I hate that. I generally did. Absolutely hate it. I went in for, obviously, my grades were shocking. I'm not going to lie. When we was apprentice, we got sent off to a day release in college, and I was in the dunces one. Plain and simple. We had the clever ones went off to Southampton from Bournemouth, and I was in one where the tutor had to come to us, and he pretty much wrote the answers down for us, and then we just copied it and sent it off. I was dunce. I was proper thick.
But you know what's interesting though? It's like when you broke your leg, did you think that was it in the game?
I did, yeah, because obviously I broke my femur. The top half of my kneecap, and dislocated it in one tackle. So I done that on the Saturday. I was in plaster Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, and then because I was an apprentice, obviously I went straight into Bupa and got took to Chichester Hospital, where the Dr. Taylor looked at it, repaired it for me, like putting 6 pins into my knee and everything. And then I was woke up in a bending machine. And then he actually said to me then, "Look, your career's finished." Because you're going back then, that's like 20 odd years ago now.
Yeah.
So you didn't have the mod cons like you did now. You know, for a surgeon to turn around and say, look, unfortunately, your career's done. At 18, 17, it was hard to take. And I thought, "No, bollocks to you, mate. I'm going to come back playing." And I was fortunate. I was back playing within 6 months.
Wow.
After a serious leg break. But he saved my career. The job he done, he saved it. He done really well. He was a top surgeon and looked after me really well.
Was a lot of that mental coming back, though, getting back that quickly? Because you're there at some of the crazy time periods people spend out, and some people get back really quickly. And they say a lot of that is just in your head. It's a mental strength that some people just don't have.
Yeah, I was very stubborn. Very mentally strong. There's pain barriers. There was days where it broke. I'm not going to lie, I was broken. It was hurting. But the ideal opportunity for me was my friend Carl Broadhurst, who was the Bournemouth captain at the time. he come down to me when I started training back, just started doing a bit of running. And I said, the key to my game is obviously my left foot, which is the leg I broke. I said, not like a tackle. I said, so we're going to have to get through this stumbling block. We put a ball down between us, and we thought, oh, bollocks, so we're going to have to do it. So we've done a 50-50 tackle. I then realised my knee was all right, and I was like, that's all right, I'm good now, let's go. But that initial fear factor of it could have gone tits up. Yeah. It could have hurt, but it didn't.
Can we
propelled me onto it.
Can we just put a "Don't try this at home, kids" underneath Dave there?
That's brilliant. I love that. That's the way to get over it.
A 50-50 to get it out your head.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. That's something I do.
Well, it needs to be done, though. Obviously, I was quite mentally headstrong anyway, and I love to tackle. I actually love to tackle. I've gone through a lot of pain barriers as it was to get to that stage, and that was the last one I needed to know to make sure I was okay to go back playing. So the only way to do it in my head was, right, to stick a ball down, bollocks to it, let's do it. So we put a ball down, just both went in 50-50, open foot as well, so it really put a lot of pressure on my knee. Open foot, 50-50. And like I said, I had no repercussions from it, and I was good. So from then, I didn't look back. I carried
Imagine
on.
that now. Imagine the way football is played now. Imagine someone saying that, I'm just going to do a 50-50 to get over a bad knee injury.
Yeah, I know, right?
Not a chance.
The sports scientists would be falling off the chairs. They'd be like, what are you doing?
Even the physio looked at me and went, you're a prick, aren't you? Like,
yeah, the doctor who's done all the work is like, no.
To be fair, I did send them a couple of tickets down. Come on, mate, come down and watch me at Fratton Park, and you come down and join me. Gang and had a beer with me and stuff. So,
brilliant. That's
class. He's done really well. He's done really well. He saved me.
Dave, speaking of beers, how do you and Thomas know each other?
Well, very boozy sessions whilst we was in Tenerife. And trying to get my 12-year-old son down the Temple of Doom slide. He was about knee-high of a grasshopper, and we blagged the lifeguard rotten to let him go down there.
No, Darren, I got a last-minute holiday with the family to Tenerife, got it on the cheap, and turns up, and as we walks into the resort on the first day, sun's cracking the flags, walks towards the bar, and I realised it was an all-inclusive resort, but we hadn't paid all-inclusive, we'd just got it on the cheap. So I bumped into Dave at the bar, literally first person I've seen, and I said, is it all-inclusive, this? And he said, yeah. I said, oh, shit, I haven't got all-inclusive. He went, don't worry, I'll get you a beer. If you're ever near the bar, I'm just sat here, shout me, and I'll get you a beer. So he gets me and the family all our drinks on the all-inclusive free. So I walks away, and then I said to my wife, I can't be going up that bar all the time. So he said, fuck it. He said, just go over and try your luck. So I went over, tried my luck for the all-inclusive. They didn't check out the band. I got all-inclusive for the whole week for free. So we got chatting, me and Dave got chatting. Great company, having a laugh. We went and watched the boxing together, and both our families, and we got pissed. And we had a proper good go in this Irish bar. And the next day we decided to go to the water park, and it's got one of the biggest slides in Europe in Tenerife. Now, Dave, you can't tell because he's lying down there. He's about 5'2". So he couldn't get on the slide. He wasn't big enough. And his lad was slightly bigger than him, but he wasn't old enough to go on. So I said, come on. So I grabbed hold of both their hands and I walked them up the stairs. And I said to the lifeguard, these are coming on this slide with us. So anyway, they both got on. They both got memories to last a lifetime. Biggest slide in Europe. They both went on it with their Uncle Thomas.
Yeah, that is brilliant.
I was on tiptoes as well, trying to have them by the shorts, lifting me up just to make sure.
Absolutely. Do you know what?
I was in the budgie smugglers. No, we give me a right wedgie today, bastard.
Brilliant. I love it.
Holiday. We had a great time.
When was that?
Class.
It was Tenerife. It was a few years ago.
Yeah, it's about 4 years ago, that was.
Yeah, and then I just remembered the other day when we were going on about getting people on, and I remembered that you'd played for Portsmouth, and you were doing your boxing, and I'd followed your boxing. So with regards to the whole football and boxing, obviously I've trained for a fight. Obviously not to the level that you trained for.
I was going to say, you're going to make that sound like it's a real fight.
Yeah, And
there was a belt involved.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
That was just the belt that holds his trousers up.
The only one, mate.
I needed them because I'd lost 2 stone. So I trained then, and it was incredible the amount of training that went in. What's the biggest difference between football and boxing with regards to training? I know you're saying they only train for an hour, but surely the fitness levels to be a top professional footballer and a boxer, I know they're going to differ slightly to the peak fitness and what you're aiming to do. But what's the difference? And just describe, your training, what your training be like for a fight.
Obviously, with boxing, when I was in camp ready for a fight, the diet, you had to stick to the diet, which obviously I was getting down to super featherweight, so I had to fight at 9 stone 4, and I actually walk around at 11 stone 2. So to cut that, I had nutrition in, so you had to have massive discipline to make sure you ate correctly at all time. You up the water, but I'd say discipline levels were huge, massively huge. So that's one of the big differences. And obviously in a football match, you've got 10 other lads plus the subs to bail you out the shit. If you're having a bad game, you can kind of coast the way through it. If you're having a bad time in that boxing ring, there's a good chance you're going to get fucking hurt.
Yeah.
So, it was self-discipline, and you had to get out and do your runs. So look, one of my training days, say for Tuesday, for instance, I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'd go do my 5-mile run. I'd then go off to work, and then straight after work, I'd go in the gym, do my pad session, and then at 7 o'clock, I'll go back in the gym. We'd either have a sparring session or a general fitness session, and then we had to have the strength and conditioning afterwards. So I wouldn't get home till about 10, 11 o'clock at night. It was tough. It was so tough. The fitness levels were completely different. I used muscles that I was at, Jesus Christ, what am I doing? So I was punching. The first time I went in the gym and was punching, I couldn't lift my shoulders for about 3 days after. I was in absolute agony. So, yeah, I'd say the discipline level and the fitness level, they say you're fit. And I don't know if you've ever heard the expression, they say you're fit until you go in the box. And then you totally see, because we take these charity fighters, they do an 8 to 12 week training camp. And we really stress them that you need to do road running for your stamina. You need to do this. And like, yeah. They eat shit still. They drink crap. They don't do their road work. And then they wonder why at the end of the first round, in a 2-minute round, they come back to the corner and they are absolutely dead on their feet. So you've got to have the discipline. You've got to listen. You've got to do the road work, get your stamina in. And then you've got the strength and conditioning side of it, which is equally as hard, if not the hardest thing we do. So obviously what I learned quite quick, I needed to do my strength and conditioning on my abs. I went in, I sparred Floyd Pac-Man Moore. He was a Southern Area champion at the time. And I'd literally just gone in the gym, and it was my first time sparring with the pros, and he's hit me with a body shot, and Jesus Christ, I folded like a fucking deck chair. And I've never made such a squeal in all my life. It was like, and down I went. And Gav Jones, who was at school with me, took me in the gym. He was just in the corner pissing himself, saying, I've waited 15 years to see you take a good whack.
Yeah, body shots are horrible.
Going back to the question, though, it's got to be discipline. The self-discipline's got to be massive, yeah.
So, Dave, being like a two-sport athlete, you must have had some heroes you looked up to. Who were your heroes in football and boxing? Who were the ones you looked up to?
Football, you've got to look at Soupy Frank Lampard. He's a fantastic player. As much as he's probably criticised so much now, Roy Keane, in his day, he was fantastic. I still remember the game against Juventus when he was suspended in Champions League semi-final. He picked out his second booking, and Jesus Christ, he was fantastic that day. So you knew he could play in the final, but what a game he had. He was phenomenal. And the boxing side, you've got to go into Arturo Gatti. I don't know if you follow boxing. Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward, the 3-fight trilogy. Yeah, what a freak fights that was. And obviously you've got Mike Tyson, baddest man on the planet. What a beast that was, by the way. Imagine getting in a ring with him.
You say
I
that.
think he'd snarl at me, and I'm like, yeah, I'll fall down now.
Yeah, if you say he's the baddest man on the planet, if you not met Thomas on a night out.
I've been around Thomas on a night out in Tenerife, and I think he was the baddest man. Probably one of the soppiest, not the baddest.
So you talk about Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward. So Mickey Ward had another big fight against Shane Airy.
Yes.
And Shane Airy's from Liverpool. Used to work on the door in a place that I used to work in as we were growing up. Brilliant lad, really good lad. But what a fighter he was as well.
Yeah. Do you know what I love about boxing as well is the amount of respect that goes in there between the fighters. You look at, again, go back to Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward. If you actually see the documentary where it went on about Arturo Gatti's death, it resorted back to the fights. And when they was both in hospital, they was in a hospital bed side by side, but with the curtain across, they pulled it back and they was chatting away quite thing. They just battered the shit out of each other for 12 rounds solid. And I mean, battered the hell out of each other. And then they become real best mates. Yeah. So it's good. I went over, I fought Paul Highland Jr. in Belfast. I had 8 days notice. I lost a stone and 3 pounds in 8 days. They flew me over to Belfast. I stayed over there Friday night. I went in the ring against Paul Highland Jr., who was the IBF European champion at the time. We went toe-to-toe, and we still stay in touch now. And he went on to fight Lewis Ritson for the British title. He's a phenomenal fighter. The respect you get from when you share the ring with them, knowing what you've put into training, knowing what they've put into training, you have a slugfest, you step out, and there's none of this bitchiness, animosity towards each other like there is in the footballing world. It's just nothing but sheer respect, and then you step away from it and you stay mates.
Yeah, I watched. I've just finished watching that Calzaghe documentary.
Yes,
and they talked about his fight against Mikhail Kessler, which at the time was a massive fight because Kessler was brilliant. And Calzaghe didn't think he was going to win the fight. He ends up winning the fight, and he was outstanding against Kessler. And then they sat there and watched the fight together.
Yeah, that's right.
And at the end of it, they're like arm around each other, all best mates. I love that. That's brilliant about boxing.
But do you know what? That's generally how it is. It generally is, because you got to remember, we go into sparring. We got obviously your stable in the gym, so you go into spar to stop each other out. But you're in there. It's a spar, so it's like a fight. The only difference is you've got a head guard on, and instead of having 8-ounce gloves, you've got 16-ounce gloves. But you're still in there to beat the shit out of each other. And then you step out, and then you train alongside each other. You have a laugh and a joke. That's just the way it is. That is boxing in general, and it's fun. I love it. I absolutely love it.
How long did you box for? It was like 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, I boxed for 4 years in the end. I've just retired now. Obviously, this lockdown. Where I'm getting on 40 next year, and where this lockdown is at my age, you have to stay active. So you have to stay out in the gym, keep training. Because unfortunately, where this lockdown's occurred, and I haven't been able to train so much myself, the injuries I've had over the years, like my knees, my ankles, it's just caught up with me. And the old age has actually caught up with me now. And it's like, I'm not going to be able to do this no more.
But I watched some of your boxing on YouTube as well, and you had really fast hands.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of those things that as you get older, if you don't stay active, that's not as fast as it was before.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I was quite fortunate. I had fast hands. I went hunted. I always hunted the opponent down and looked at the fight, and I moved quite well, which is why my nose ain't quite as bad as what it should be. But I did move well. But because sometimes when you got caught, it was like, geez, that one fucking hurt. But nah. But yeah, you're true. As you get older, your speed starts to drop. Your punch durability drops as well. So like, a few years ago, I'd have been a good shot, and as fit as you are, you would recover quite quick. So you'd have a little buzz, you'd shake your head off, and within a couple of seconds, you'll be fine. As you get older, that punch comes in, you don't recover as quick. Yeah. So your durability starts to drop. Tony Oki, a good friend of mine, who was a world champion, he fought Jeff Lacey again in a charity fight.
Left of Lacey?
Yeah, he did. He fought him down in Swindon first time and beat him. And Jeff Left Up Lacey was fuming. So he come back over again, and they done another one down at Mountbatten Centre in Portsmouth. And Tony, I trained with Tony. I know what a Trojan he is. He's an absolute workhorse. But fucking hell, when Jeff Left Lacey hit him, he said the first round, he went back to his corner. He was seeing stars. He couldn't take in what the trainer was saying. And he went out for the second round. And Robin Reed was the referee then.
Yeah.
He got hit, and he got dropped heavily. and it could have been stopped, but he given the benefit of the doubt. He got up, and then he got hit the second time. He just hit the deck like a sack of shit, and that was it. It was over. But he was the first one that always told me, once your durability's gone, it's time to call it a day. That's when it's dangerous.
Dave, going back to your football and boxing, do you have any regrets in the game?
No, do you know what? I don't, because I've achieved things that a lot of kids love to do but haven't managed to do. Like, you get these kids that go off to pro clubs and train. There's like School of Excellence or the academies or whatever they call it nowadays. But to actually play in the first team for your hometown club and kick an actual league ball, that is very, very unknown. Obviously, one in however many now. So no, I've no regrets whatsoever. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time as a professional footballer.
I think you're being a bit restrained there, Dave, and being a bit modest. I think you've done things that kids dream of. I mean, being a two-sport professional, there are not many people who do that. I mean, that's massive. And as well, you didn't just do a bit of boxing. You didn't just turn pro and think, well, I'll just have a couple of fights just so I'm a pro boxer. But you had 15 fights.
Yeah,
and you won 9 of them well.
Yeah, I had 15 fights. I fought for the Southern Area twice, which is only one level below the English title. I went over to Belfast and fought Paul Highland Jr., who's the IBF European title holder. So, yeah, no, I was fast-tracked through. Because when I first started boxing, I was 34 years old. I only done it through a charity. One of my friends, Dave Waterman, who was at Portsmouth with me, his son died of leukemia at a real young age. And he put on, he set up his organisation, which was the Oakley Walton Caravan Foundation, set up South Coast homes all around the South Coast and sent terminally ill children there as a respite free of charge. Brilliant. So what he'd done, he had one caravan that needed a real good revamp. And he asked all the ex-players to chuck their hat in to go and do a charity fight. And I was like, yeah, I'm having some of that, no worries. I didn't want to start. So I thought, I'll have some of that. So I went in the ring. We trained in the pro gym, and I got put in the ring against the lad called Richie Hayward. Now, he was a very experienced white-collar fighter, good white-collar fighter, and I beat him. And everyone's like, fucking hell, you just turned them over. What's going on? So then Mikey Ballingal, who's my manager, he said, look, come back in the gym, go and spar some of the pros, which is where Floyd dropped me like a fucking deck chair massively. But he said, stay in there. And I was training with Lucas Ballingal, who's now fighting. He's fighting at a real good level. He's going to be up there. He's going to fight Archie Sharp, who's like a massive fighter. And then I trained with Michael McKinson, who's a WBO European title holder. He smashed me about more times than that as well. But I was quite tough. And Bally was like, you're a tough little shit. You can take an iron, yet you still come back. And he got me, why don't that boxing board and get your pro license? He said, just go and do a couple of white collar fight first, and then we'll take you out the board in front of the board. So I was like, yeah, all right then. So I went, done a few travellers, went around and fought a few boys. One I've never lost as a white collar lad, never lost at all. And then so I went, turned over pro, went out in front of the pro board, and they looked at me and went, you're 34 years old. What are you doing? I was like, well, I'm a professional footballer. And I was like, yeah, we can't really argue with that, can we? I was like, well, there you go then. Just sign it off and let me go and fight.
Yeah, happy days. But then you started with 5 in a row wins, didn't you?
Yes, I did, yeah. Obviously, not being funny, boxing, you got to look at it. If you're a good ticket seller, you get looked after a little bit. So I was a good ticket seller. Obviously, where I played for Portsmouth, my hometown club, I had a good following of supporters that wanted to come down and watch me fight. So the first one you normally get, your debut, you normally get fed a journeyman that just comes down to survive the fight and get the payday. So I beat him, and then went until I stepped up to fight Giovanni Camaro in my 6th fight for the Southern Area title, which was really unheard of. You never normally get a chance to fight for the Southern Area, let alone at 34 and after 5 fights. So I've gone in there with him. He was like 6'1". I'm like Tom said, I'm 5'2". A bit of an exaggeration. I'd say more of a strapping 6 foot lad, really.
Yeah.
But, I went
in your heels.
He schooled me. He absolutely schooled the daylights out of me. He really did. And he caught me with a shot that flush on the temple. And it's the first time ever I was hit like that. And the old head went. And my first thought was, right, you bastard, we're having it now. Let's fight. And unfortunately, he finished me off there and then. So it was good. But you do get looked after. I went 5-0. I got beat for the Southern Area title. Then I went away and won a couple more fights. Then I got an opportunity to fight Paul Highland Jr. over in Belfast. So I snapped that up. You can't turn that down. That's a massive opportunity. And then I'll come back again. I've got a chance to fight Liam Dillon for the Southern Area title again. He's now gone on and fought for the English title. So it was good.
He's got a decent record as well, hasn't he, Liam Dillon?
Liam Dillon, yeah, he's a good boxer. He's very, very fit and a good lad. I knew I was in trouble with Liam when we was 4 rounds in, and I said to him, because my manager was like, we'll get you moving, because he's quite aggressive. He said, we'll get you moving, on your feet, move. So 4 rounds in, I thought, fuck this. Do you know what? We'll just go toe-to-toe and fight and bollocks to it. So the trainer was like, well, look, I'd rather you didn't, but all right. So I went out the 5th round, went toe-to-toe, won the 5th round. 6th round, I've done the same. Won the 6th round, but it took more out of me than it did him. And then we've come out for a 7th round, and that little bastard was fresh as daisy. I'm in a bit of trouble now.
Yeah. There was another guy, I think, wasn't who played for Sheffield United and went into the box. Was it Curtis Woodhouse or someone?
Woodhouse, yeah.
Did he go into boxing?
And you also had Leon McKenzie.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Both decent fighters as well.
I was boxing at York Hall, and Leon McKenzie was there watching. I fought a lad, Nisu Twala, and this lad was like, I want the killers of the division. I'm the best in Britain, blah, blah. Oh, made a lot of noise. A right jumped up, arrogant little shit. And I went in there and battered him. Absolutely battered him. Leon McKenzie looked at me and laughed. He went, that's one for the old boys, tough shit. And I was like, yeah, well, shit happened.
Love that.
So was York Hall like the mecca of the boxing world?
Oh, mate, yeah, of course it is. You got to look at it. York Hall, you got Andy Joshua does his opening workouts there. You've seen the Craze fight there. You've seen, I've been in there. Ricky Hatton's been in there cornering somebody. They're all there. Everyone has boxed at York Hall at some point in their career.
Man, you boxed there a few times.
I have, yeah. I was fortunate. I boxed there as a kid. That's why I got knocked out by when I was a junior. That's the first peppered me.
But that Liam Dillon, wasn't he when he fought you? Wasn't he like he'd fought 8 or 9 fights or something at that stage and done really well?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's very he's aggressive. I think he's 9-0 now, but he's drawn 1, which he fought for the English title against Yusuf Kamari, who I boxed as well, and they drew that one, which I thought he got robbed in. To be honest, I thought he'd done enough to win that fight.
Yeah,
but he's a very good boxer.
So then you fought. Your last fight was in last year in October.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, but before I'd done my last go and bowing out fight for the Pompey lot, all like my fans and everything. I fought Jamie Spate, who was an ex Southern Area title holder himself. He was 2-weight two-weight champion, and he come down and we boxed. And I know Jamie anyway, and we both agreed if we stood down the 6th round, we're just having it. Do you know what I mean? We are standing there and we're having it, and we'll bow out in proper style. So I did. He come down, we boxed. We had a lot of undercard on, a lot of youngsters under us, but the fights were pony. They were bad. And then everyone said me and Jamie's fight was the best one because we just didn't give a shit. And we thought, you know what, I'm going to hit you. You hit me, but if you hit me twice, as long as I can land my big Roy took on you, I don't care. And we just went at it. So it was good.
And you had, and then you had 4 fights last year.
Yes, yeah. Quick succession. I went and fought Conor Marsden up in London, and I went on straight after that on Saturday, and then the following Friday I went to Doncaster and fought a lad called Levi Giles, and he was tasty. He's one to watch out for. He's going to be good.
Yeah, young kid, but he hasn't been beat yet, has he?
No, he's good. He's going to be looking good.
I reckon you fancy a fight.
Wait till the podcast's finished, Tom.
I didn't mind, Mum. I was horrible on the training pitch. I was horrible when I was boxing, so I didn't mind one. It is what it is, isn't it? You get punched, it's part of it.
Yeah. Do you ever get used to getting punched in the face?
Sorry?
Do you ever get used to getting punched in the face?
Do you believe it or not? You do, right? When you first enter training camp, the first spar you get, you come out and you're marked up. You look as if you've been battered by Mike Tyson. You got bruises, your face is all marked up, even with a head guard on and loads of Vaseline. But by the end of training camp, your face, even though you have a proper hard spar, it's all good. So you do get, it's like a conditioning workout. So when you do your ab work, they ram the medicine ball off your abs just to get conditioning. So when you take a body shot, you can take it. It's exactly the same with a sparring. Your sparring sessions conditions your face up. so you don't do it. My nose has been popped more times than that in sparring, and then for the next 3 spars, it's pissed out with blood left, right, and centre, and then all of a sudden just stops. So it's all conditioning.
I've got to be honest, the first time I got punched in the nose, I was doing kickboxing, and I was training with a lad who was much better than me, and I'm bouncing around the ring thinking I know what I'm doing after a couple of months, and he just stood there, literally didn't move, just waited for me to land, and then just hit me right down the pipe, caught me in the nose. After the next 2 minutes, I literally couldn't see a thing. I wouldn't go down, but I could not see a thing.
Yeah.
And he stopped. He's like, "You're all right?" I'm like, yeah, let's carry on. I couldn't see him. He could have absolutely battered me.
The thing is, you have got to laugh. When you take a good punch, you do giggle. You've got that little bit inside you, like, you bastard, right. That one was a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Let's carry on.
Dave, you might giggle. I'd have cried. I'd have gone home.
You're supposed to be the hard man of the podcast.
I am the hard man of the podcast, but I don't like getting hit.
Yeah,
See, I was thick. I didn't mind getting it. I didn't mind that at all. It was just a bit dumb of me, really. But there you go.
Yeah, I think there's obviously a skill in rolling the punch as well, isn't there? Once you get used to it, you get to be able to roll the punch a bit. So then you don't get but then the problem is if you get caught flush with one, obviously it's lights out.
Yeah, it can be game over. I was fortunate. I was quick on my feet. Where from the footballing days, I had really quick footwork, so I was in and out quick. I could move well. I did move really well. But like you said, when you got caught, fuck me, didn't you know about it? Like I said, Jamani Camaro, when I fought him in the southern area, he caught me flush in the temple, and my legs went like spaghetti. I was all over the show, and I was gone. And then next thing, I was in the corner. I had your gas mask on my face with the paramedics. You all right?
Wow.
What the fuck's happened? But yes, that's the joy. That's the sport, though. That's the sport you're in. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I also think it's a certain type of person and mentality who it gets off on that in many ways. You say in football, you like a challenge, like a tackle. Boxing, you didn't mind getting hit because that would spur you on to do more. It's that sort of mentality, isn't it, all the time?
Yeah, it is. You got to have that. You got to have that bit of bollocks about you. To step foot in the ring. Don't forget, you're stood there. You're fighting someone. It's a fight in front of all your friends, family, everyone. So you've got to have that bit of bollocks. You've got to hold your nerve, and you're going to go in there to fight. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I love that. So I followed boxing. I followed Ricky Hatton. Went to Vegas a couple of times to watch him fight. Nothing better than the atmosphere around a big fight, and as you say, the camaraderie between people, and what I found was I went to a couple of fights in Liverpool, and I hated it because they're your own people, and you know what's going on. There's fights going on everywhere. You're watching, you know people, and it's just the atmosphere is just really pent up. And I went to Vegas, and there's so many people. Loads of people you don't know, and it just felt totally different. The atmosphere was brilliant.
To be fair, Simon, that was a Weatherspoons.
It wasn't an official fight. It wasn't sanctioned. I went to a fight in the Echo Arena, and it was not.
Wasn't it the Smith, one of the Smith brothers?
It was, yeah.
Yes,
it was Paul Smith.
He was fighting someone from Liverpool, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, big fight, and there was murder in the crowd. It wasn't good. So you got the North Enders and the South Enders, and they were all fighting with each other.
Yeah, they did clash, didn't they?
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, you do get it. Not so much now in the small hall shows, but there was times where it did break out, and then it was just stupid because at the end of the day, both boxers are trying they've worked their hardest to get in there. You don't need dickheads trying to fight on the outside of the ring just to jeopardise it. It brings a bad name to the sport, and it's not what it's all about. It's a respectful sport, so you shouldn't be doing it.
The only boxing fight I've been to was Thomas the Hitman Morris. I don't know if you when he had his white collar or whatever it's called. Was it a charity fight, Thomas, or something?
Yeah, it was for the gym.
And to be fair, I thought it was great. I don't know who was more concerned of though, Thomas or his wife, because
Rachel was crazy that day. I remember watching the video and I'm like, who is this woman who's shouting?
Yeah, she went psycho, didn't she?
Yeah, massively. Yeah. But
Thomas, fair, I'd heard of this Thomas Morris, and I heard he called me out, and I was like, "Well, you know."
The problem was, Dave.
I heard about the wife, and I've seen the videos where we see the wife jump in with a shoe around the back of the head. I was a little bit concerned about that, so I thought I'll give that one a little bit of a wide berth.
Yeah, give it a miss. I've seen her go, people, you don't want to see that.
To be honest, if I called you out, you'd have to come up a couple of weights, like 6 weights.
I take it you're not going to come down the weight then, no?
Well, I'll try.
Thomas may get down. Thomas may get down 1 weight.
He'd have to cut one of his legs off.
Yeah, that's not going to help with the fight.
So going back to football, Dave, what you were in the game for a while. Who were some of the best players that you played with, against? You know, give us a flavour of the type of players that you.
Well, you got to look, when I went to play the Ipswich, it was the year they won the league, you had Matty Holland, Jamie Scowcroft, they had like Jim Magilton.
He was good.
They were flying. When the Blackburn, I played against Jason McAteer, one of your lads' favourites, I guess, from Liverpool. So we had a load of them. But Bolton, you had Michael Johansson, Ida Good Johnson. So they all played against me. Bournemouth, I played alongside Jermaine Defoe. Again, he was a good player. Eddie Howe was a good player. Portsmouth, there was some good players there. You had Luke Nightingale, Gary O'Neill, who's gone on to do massive things. And so I think out of all of them, he's probably the best player I've played with. He just made the game look so easy. He'd be in a tight midfield, and you'd give him the ball, and he'd always manage to wriggle out, make himself loads of room, and just spray a pass left, right, and centre. So I'd say he's probably the best player I've played with. The best player I've gone against has got to be Michael Johansson. He gave me a torrid time when I played against Bolton. He was a busy bastard.
Yeah.
He was one of the ones I wanted to kick him so he'd slow the fuck down.
But you can't catch him.
Yeah.
I could, man. I was quick, but he was quicker, so I didn't like it.
Brilliant. So we had someone on the other week, and you asked that question, and most people who we're talking to are like, maybe being pro or played in the non-league or whatever. So generally, it's someone who you don't know that well. They turn around and we're like, who's the best player you play against? Thierry Henry. How do you deal with him?
Yeah, you can't, can you? You just have to try and, I don't know how, to be honest.
Get your arms around them.
I think if I had to play against him, I'd put my arm out and say, I've pulled my hamstring, take me off. It's the only way to do it.
So speaking of football, what's your greatest football memory? And it can be anything, playing, watching, being involved, whatever it may be.
No, do you know what? It's got to be going to Ipswich Town for my full debut. I made my debut at Bolton on a Tuesday night. We got pumped 4-1. And then on Saturday, obviously we had Ipswich away. And they was top league, they was flying. I think they actually got promoted that year. They hadn't been beat at home. And we travelled out on the Friday, and we normally go for a little routine on the Friday. You get to the hotel, and you go out in the training pitch, and you run through like set plays and a bit of pattern play, bits and bobs out with the first team. So the bibs were laid out. The yellow ones was the first team side. The orange ones was normally for the subs. So he's laid out as a 3-5-2. And I was sat there like eyeing up my orange bib, because normally they stunk. And I was like, that one ain't too bad. I'll have that one. And the next time I stood there, and the gaffers picked up yellow bib on Bournemouth, left wing back. I was thinking, oh shit, that's a big pitch. A big pitch to go left wing back at. So I've done that. And then, I suppose we got to the ground. The phone was going massively by family members and everything like that, so I tended to switch it off. We come out for the warm-up, and the ground was absolutely empty. It is before everyone's down the pub having a piss out or whatever. So we've done the warm-up, and as I've turned around, my old man was stood in the Portsmouth end, and it was just then, it was like, shit.
Wow.
And then when he changed room, Milan Mandrick was the chairman at the time, and him and the gaffer obviously done it as a bit of a joke. They turned around and said to the gaffer, it's good to see the mascots changed up here, Tony. The gaffer turned around and gone, no, Milan, he's starting. And I was like, fucking cheers for that one, lads. No, thanks a bunch. But no, when we come out, we obviously went through everything in the changing room. Then we come out into the tunnel, and Matthew Holland was their captain. But he was at Bournemouth a couple of years ago when I was there as an apprentice. So he stood on the Ipswich side, and he's turned around chatting away to me. So I was chatting with him. With that Dave Waterman, who was stood behind me, I wrote back, he'd give me an almighty fudge straight round the back of the head and give it, you want to fucking concentrate. We're going out to play now. Sort yourself out. I was, all right, fucking, exactly, mate. And mate, as we've walked out, you've heard 24,000 people roar, and it was just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable to hear the crowd go as mental as they did. And we actually beat them 1-0. We were 1-0 in 15 minutes, I think it was. But the rest of the game, we had the white flags up, the tin hats on. They threw the Alamo at us. And we were like, fuck it now, here we go. If we can just nick this, we'll be happy. So we nicked it, and I think we celebrated out on the pitch for about 3/4 of an hour after the game. Even George Burley, doing his interview, he turned around and said, I think the Pompey lot are still out celebrating. Everyone told them it's only a league game, not an FA Cup final. But, no, you know what? And I actually got man of the match that game as well. So it's a fond memory for me. My full debut, got man of the match, and I'll give Michael Clegg, who was on loan from Man United, a hard time that game.
Brilliant, mates. That's a great memory. I love that. All right, so then comes the boxing. Yes. What's your greatest memory from boxing?
It's got to be going over to Belfast, really, because obviously I'm not like a top known boxer, but out in Belfast, they're proper fighting men. They love their boxing. And you went over there. We flew over there on Friday morning, and obviously we went to the hotel, got settled down. We had to do the weigh-in at about 1:30 1, so we had a few hours to kill. And obviously I had to cut a lot of weight real quick. So I was hungry, I was ratty, just a grump really. So my manager's gone, come on, we'll go for a little wander. So we're walking through Belfast, and you've got all these people coming up to, oh, you're fighting, oh, hello, good luck, how you doing? And you get the odd one, oh, I was going to smash fuck out of you. And you're like, yeah, I know. But, you know, I'm here, so let's just have a go of it. But that was the best one. And I went in the ring, fought high-low, and the amount of respect you got off all of them after the fight was something brilliant. James Tennyson was there, I met him, Ryan Burnett was there, Ronnie Clark was there in the crowd as well. So you went after the fight. Normally you go out to your hotel, do whatever you're doing after the fight, but I thought, box that, I'm going for a shant. So I went down into the bar, and the promoter there, they was all there, they was all buying you drinks, they made you feel so welcome. So I think that was the highlight, getting in there with high-low, knowing how good he was, and going at it with him, and getting the respect of everyone after the fight was probably my main thing. I absolutely loved that. What about fighting in Portsmouth and winning in Portsmouth? It's always nice to do that. It's always nice to get the fight in Portsmouth and win in Portsmouth. Obviously, you're in front of all your friends and family. And, you know, the thing with Portsmouth, I don't know if you've ever been down to Portsmouth, they follow their own massively. So where I played for Pompey FC and all that boxing, I had so many come and support me all the way. And they come wherever I went. I took over to Belfast on 8 days. I took a few over there. We went to London. Wherever we went, we always had it. We always had the Pompey chimes. And when that blared out for my ring walk, the place just erupted. Everywhere was a play up Pompey, and it was just mental. But it was lovely. It was real good. But for the high-low, for the level he was at, that's got to be the main one for me. The Belfast one. All right, mate. Yeah. There's some great memories. As I say, you're being very modest. Being a two-sport professional and winning fights in the professional game is massive. Love the fact that you've come on. The fact that you know Thomas as well.
Yeah, we can only apologise for that, Dave.
He's not a representative of Liverpool.
He's giving me nightmares now, isn't he? Giving me nightmares about giving me that wedgie going up and do that slide fast.
Yeah, mate, that's not an image you want. All right, mate, listen, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much, and we'll definitely get you on again at some stage.
Brilliant.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate that, Dave.
All right, cheers, Dave. Thanks, mate.
Take care, lads. See you later. Mate.
What a great interview that was.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Great lad, him.
Yeah, he enjoys a swear word like me as well.
To be fair, at least we've got £120 in the funds now from the swearing.
It was good though. He only used it to emphasise a point, which is our rules.
The best way.
Yeah, he was good. He was really good. I love the fact that he's done both the sports and, as we were saying before, it's not just a token, I'm going to go and be a pro boxer. He's gone on and fought a load of times. He was great.
Yeah, he loved it. He loved it as well, didn't he? You could see from he loved his time playing football. He loved his time boxing. And then what was a little bit sad was when you could show how much it hurt him to not be doing it anymore. And I felt for him then halfway through.
Yeah, it's. I think because his life's revolved around sports since he was 14, you know, and he got into boxing at 34. He's almost had that second chance to get into something else. And now I think he said he was 40. you know, to suddenly think, what am I doing? You know, I need to look at my life and get things sorted. And I found what he said about school interesting, about how he wished he'd have gone back and he's hard on his kids now in school because he wants them to have a career rather than a job. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's really important.
Yeah, it's interesting when you talk to pros and what they went through later years in their schooling life and how different it was than what we went through. But for someone like him to find out at 14 that he's going to get a YTS,
yeah,
surely that makes you switch off from your schoolwork. Unless you're a certain type of person or you've got parents driving you in your schoolwork, then you're screwed, aren't you?
A bit like me, say I don't like switching off. I'm on it 24/7.
Are you switching your internet off?
Don't jinx it. We've got through a whole podcast without him freezing.
All right. So Thomas, we haven't had one of these for a while, and people have been crying out for it. Let's do a Thomas Morris Wall of Hate. Who are you mostly hating this week? And if you say Aston Villa, we'll be very disappointed.
Very disappointed. And a strongly worded email will be going to his agent.
So this week, I'm mostly hating an England, Chelsea and Arsenal legend. He made over 100 appearances for England and was once regarded as the best left-back in the world. Andy Robinson, to be honest. So this week, I'm mostly hating Ashley Cole. I hate him. So when he was looking to move away from Arsenal in 2005, 2006, he was found guilty of making contact with arch rivals Chelsea. He was caught meeting Jose Mourinho in a cheap motorway diner, like a cheap £20 hooker. You know, I don't mind people looking for a transfer, but not to your arch rivals. And you don't meet in an old roadside diner. What's going on? He was fined 100 grand by the Premier League, but I'm sure his mate Roman paid for that. And that's why, for me, he'll always be known as Cashley Cole. He didn't get the move that he wanted that year, but he did leave Arsenal the following year, you know, for that team with no history, Chelsea. In his book, he claimed Arsenal had treated him like a scapegoat. You know, what you'd expect, flowers and chocolates. You know, by all accounts, he couldn't live on the 55 grand a week.
Oh.
You know, Arsenal were offering him. He seemed a bit happier with the 120 grand a week Chelsea gave him. The absolute muppet. So, when his time ended at Chelsea, he let his contract run down. So again, he was looking about the cash. He wanted more money, and he decided Cashley Cole was going to sign a 2-year contract on a free with Roma. But he ended that a year early because, again, he sorted out a sneaky little deal where he could earn loads of money and end up going to LA Galaxy. So now he set this deal up. He wasn't playing for Roma anymore. So he's had more bad tackles than a crap fisherman. Often reckless and unnecessary. It's like a kid who's been told he won't get his pocket money that week and then he just loses his head and goes crazy. But the thing I hate him for the most was he married Cheryl Tweedy from Girls Aloud. And he got divorced from her. You know, because he got caught having loads of affairs. The absolute weapon, she is bang tidy. So he got banned, he got fined for speeding. He's been fined for swearing. He shot a sports science student in the training ground with an air rifle. To be fair, you are an absolute weapon. And you didn't get a shot on target for years. So Cashley Cole, you are a disgrace of a man. You don't mess with my Cheryl. You're going on me wall of hate.
Well done. Well, I'm going to tell Rachel about Cashley Cole and your love of Cheryl.
She's on the laminated list, so it's okay.
Ah, okay, got you. All right. Yeah, it's important. If she's on the laminated list, then
yeah, she's on the laminated list. Not when she lost all that weight, though. She wasn't as great, but now she's back curvy again. Woo, yeah,
however, I've got to pick it up on the more bad tackles than a fisherman. That's absolutely
fair. That's brilliant.
That's one of Darren's jokes.
Finally, I'm rubbing off on him.
Hey, a bit of class in the podcast, Darren.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah. Do you think about how much money he made from those moves?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Crazy, that. Huge.
Yeah. And no, but he did literally get caught in a roadside,
motorway
little cafe bistro thing. Oh, terrible, that is.
And
From
Peter
55
Kenyon.
grand to 120.
Yeah, wasn't Peter Kenyon involved as well when he was at Chelsea? There was him, Jose Mourinho, and Cashley Cole, the three of them.
Wow. Madness.
Ridiculous. As if they would get recognised.
Hey, yeah. He's never been liked, has he? He's got to be up there on everyone's most hated list, surely.
He has. You weren't happy when he made our team, no, were you? And when we were doing the team, when we put Ashley Cole in at left back, you were not happy at all, were you?
Yeah, Thomas, he'd be on the laminated wall of hate, wouldn't he?
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely. He's proper. I properly don't like him. I didn't like him when I was playing. The only time I liked him was when he had that game where he was absolutely outstanding, where he bossed Ronaldo. He put Ronaldo in his pocket for England. He was unbelievable. So, yeah. Good player.
All right. So, next big thing, Daz, that people are looking for, and actually they've been engaging really well with on the Facebook site, is a quiz type question.
You nearly got a quiz type question. I nearly missed it myself.
That's why I missed out a quiz.
Well, yeah, it's all right, mate. We'll get through it. I
don't feel quite so bad because you just got it wrong as well.
Yeah, and I got excited when you got it wrong. I was trying to get it in.
All right, Daz.
Okay, so this player began his career in non-league. He scored 15 goals in 18 appearances before his move to the Football League. Scored 30 goals in just over 2 years for his professional club. In 2003, he received a free transfer and linked up again with the manager he'd worked with previously. And it's believed he was the first player outside the Premier League to have signed an image rights contract. Who am I?
Ooh.
Thomas, if you say you've got it, you're on my wall of 8.
Yeah, that's a difficult one now.
I'll put it up on after you put the podcast up.
Yeah, get it up on Facebook. I reckon Johnny the Penguin Pollock will get that. Or he'll get one of his minions to do it.
yeah. He's probably putting a plan together to beat Batman at the moment, isn't he?
All right, so I really enjoyed that. That interview was brilliant. He was a great guest to get on. Gives us both perspectives. Daz, gives you a final thought.
I love people with a backstory. I love people who've got a bit of depth about the character and been in the game of football and boxing. Great stories. Just all about what he's learned and who he's played with, who he's fought. It was just great to listen to. So thanks very much, David. Appreciate it.
Thomas, your mate.
Yeah, he was brilliant. Nice one, Dave, for coming on. I also love people that like getting punched in the face. They're the best. They're the best type of people. So, yeah, I really appreciate it. He was a proper nice man. I had a great time in Aldi with him years ago, and we've stayed in touch. So, just want to thank him for coming on. And also, if anyone knows anyone that would be a good guest to get on and they'd be interested in coming on, give us a shout. You know, you got us on the Facebook. Let us know. We're always looking for guests with interesting stories. So we'd appreciate it if anyone wants to come on.
Yeah, Billy Birch is trying to become our agent. He's got loads of ideas. But I don't know whether we want to take them all on.
No, we'll all end up with Siggy's. Sponsored by Marlborough.
So, yeah, I agree. I thought Dave was brilliant. I think that's a really good perspective. He's done things that I love boxing. I love me football, obviously. And I'm dead jealous that he's been a pro in both of them. That's amazing to be able to transition from one sport to the other. I also think that he talked a bit about mental health and the impact on his life when he came from football and then ended up going to boxing. But obviously it's hit him harder now that he's decided to retire. But I thought he was really open, really honest. As Darren says, really good backstory. And, you know, he's got some great stories about his days in footy and in boxing as well. So he was great to have on. We'll definitely get him on again somewhere down the line. So for people who are listening and watching, don't forget to visit the website, www.3meninfootball.com. Visit us on Facebook, on the Facebook group site, Instagram. Download the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Get it wherever you want it. Whatever you want to see us, hear us, we're around. And then also this week, we did a couple of live sessions as well. And I think we're going to do another one tomorrow, or today, or by the time they hear this, which is Monday, at half time of the game, Daz.
Yeah, between Liverpool and, Tottenham and Everton, Got Liverpool on the brain, Tom, it's your fault. Yeah, that'll be good, just to give our perspective how the first half went and how the second half's looking.
Yeah, so we'll do the same thing again. We'll broadcast straight to Facebook, and then you can give us your views and we'll share them on the stream. And then we'll be back again next week. All right, lads, have a great week.
Brilliant.
On the next
See you,
one.
boys. Bye-bye.